Hello chess friends and welcome to Tata's chess channel and welcome to the Tata Steel Masters tournament in 2020 in Wijk, Netherlands. So we are already in round 5. Today I wanted to show you a great game. It is Vishy Anand versus Jeffery Xiong. Vishy Anand hasn't played maybe one of his best tournaments, but Vishy is Vishy, as I always like to say. Vishy is a tough guy. He's 50 years old, but he plays really still some great chess, I think, and I remember this one game against Magnus Carlsen in this Ragos in defense. I think he really outplayed Magnus and he had some winning chances, but made this slightly inaccuracy and lost the game eventually. But as I said, I think still Vishy Anand is one of the best players these days and deserves all the respect. I'm really looking forward to watch him also in the future. Let's see the game. I hope you have noticed I've changed a little bit the interface. I hope you like it. I'll stay now maybe a longer time to this particular interface. I hope it will fit for you. I've been asked now many times to change the this interface. Okay, but for someone it's good, for someone it's not. I cannot make it for everyone work, and I hope you like this one. Okay, let's see the game. Here e4 played by Vishy Anand. We have e6 by Jeffery Xiong, the French defense, d4 and d5. Still common theory, of course, of the French defense, and this is always tricky variation, because after knight to c3 we have this bishop to b4 idea by Jeffery Xiong. It's a pinning idea. It's a very aggressive line, but after this aggressive setups, most of the times the French defense leads into this positional games in which you're basically trying to find the best squares, the best diagonals for your pieces, and that's why here after the bishop to b4 the immediate threat is of course this positional trades of pieces by bishop takes c3, and you will continue the game with this pardon me, double pawn situation on the c file. So in the game, e5 was played by Vishy Anand, and this pawn structure in the center already shows us the direction of the attack. So it means black will coordinate the attack on the queen side, because here the pawns are really in this blocked pawn structure in the center. Always the pawns are showing us the direction, so that's why black will coordinate the attack with moves like c5. If the position, of course, allows it, also b5, a5. It has to be prepared, but this is the main strategical direction of black's attack. On the other hand, white will coordinate the attack with the move f4, f5, maybe g4, h4, and similar ideas. So in the game, knight to e7 was played by Jeffery Xiong. I like maybe more this aggressive line with the move c5 immediately after a3, bishop takes c3, b takes c3, queen to a5. I think is the main theory. After bishop to d2, queen to a4 is sort of a move which attacks immediately the d4 weakness, and you have to play something like queen to g4 in order to defend it, or play knight to f3. In the game, knight to e7 was played, and here Anand played immediately a3, challenging the bishop on c3. We have bishop takes c3, and now b takes c3, and now c5. This is still a common theory in the French defense. In the game, queen to g4 played by Vishy, and now king to f8. You may think that this is a weird move by Jeffery Xiong, but it's really one of the most played positional ideas from black's perspective in the French defense. The main idea is to create a blocking system with the move g6, h5, knight to f5, really creating sort of a blockade here. You see, this would be sort of a passive positional and defensive setup, and maybe if the position allows it, even advance the pawn here on h4. This could really secure the king side, and still black has some ideas to counterplay on the queen side with queen to a5, and this idea to play maybe b5 and similar ideas, even b4, to crack the position on the queen side. So that's why h4 played by Vishy Anand. As I said, we have the direction of the attack, so white is coordinating the attack on the king side, so that's why you have to be fast on your side where you have the advantage, and this h4 comes with the idea to push even further with move h5 and h6. And here Jeffery Xiong, I think, makes a slightly inaccuracy with the move h5. There is a better line, I think. Immediately you can try b6, because in this block pawn structures, when we have blocked pawn structures in the center like this one, you always look for your bishops, how good is your bishop's activity. If you see this light square bishop of white is very powerful. It has a good diagonal, and it can come on a very active square on d3 and attack here this h7 weakness. So one of the main strategical ideas for black can be to go into a positional trades of pieces with the move bishop to a6 immediately, trying really to force this bishops to trade. On the other hand, this dark square bishop of white, it still has a good diagonal, but the problem about the dark square bishop is that it has only one diagonal. It has only this one with the diagonal to play, and if this game goes into an endgame with this pawn structure in the center by having your pawns all on dark squares, I think this could be a bad bishop situation in some occasions of the French defense here. So in the game, if maybe for instance white tried here knight to f3, then bishop to a6, I think it's a very powerful idea. After bishop to d2, we can simply trade off here the pieces, and now you see how bad a little bit this bishop is. We can still play on our idea to play something like g6, h5, then after that, and maybe knight to f5, creating still this blocking system, and still with the preparation to play something like knight to c6. So in the game h5 played by Jeffery Xiong, and here Vishy plays a very interesting idea, queen to d1, retreating with the queen on the starting square, b6 played by Jeffery, and now bishop to g5. And this is now Anand's idea to get rid of this bishop maybe, because as I said, there could be some troubles about this dark square bishop. In the game, queen to c7 was played, getting out of the pin because we want to play knight to f5. This is our main idea. And now rook to h3. Played by Vishy Anand. Not that this rook only creates some attacking possibilities. You see the importance of this rook on the third rank. The rook can of course go to a very active square on f3 and attack here maybe this f7 weakness, but the more important thing about this rook that it covers here this c3 pawn. You see the importance of this move. Great preparation here by Vishy Anand. Here we have c takes d4 played by Jeffery Xiong, and again I think it's an inaccuracy because here I think after the move rook to h3 you have maybe a better idea to play knight to f5 immediately instead of this c takes d4 idea. You can challenge immediately white center here with the move knight to f5, and white would be forced maybe to play something like knight to f3 or maybe even bishop to d3. So if you try bishop to d3, then this idea is very powerful, I think, to again go into positional trades of pieces. After trade of pieces here, bishop takes a6, knight takes a6, still this knight is very powerful, and basically it's hard to challenge. After potential g6 move, this would be a powerful defensive piece in front of black's king. So in the game, as said, c takes d4, and here Vishy of course took also c takes d4. Now we have knight to f5, and now we have c3. You see how important this rook on the third rank is. It has really a double function. It has a defensive function to cover this c3, and also creates maybe some dangerous attack here on the king side. So bishop to a6 finally, Vishy took simply bishop to a6, knight takes a6, and now knight to e2 with the preparation to play also a very nice move, knight to f4. This knight would be very powerful, would be attacked this h5, and then black has to play this move g6, maybe then even further weaken the dark squares around black's king. So in the game, knight to b8, which is a common move. It seems like a strange move by Jeffery Xiong, but it's this natural. You don't have a good square to jump to from the square to on a6. So you basically what you want to do is maybe to play knight to c6, knight to f5, and maybe play knight to c4. This would be a very powerful outpost of the knight. So if we could get our knight here on c4, then this knight would be hard to challenge because you need the knight to challenge this knight on c4, because you don't have any more the light square bishop. The light square bishops are off the board, so placing your knight on c4 would be a huge strategical advantage for black here. So in the game, knight to f4 played by Vishy, we have g6, we have g4. You see how Vishy doesn't lose any tempos. He continues to attack on that side where he's better. I mean here on the king side, because here it's our space advantage. Here we have already the pawn on the fifth rank, so that's why you don't lose tempos in these types of positions. So you have to be fast. G4, a perfect move. H takes g4, queen takes g4, knight to d7, and now rook to c1, of course, protecting also this c3, because we want to play much more freely with this rook. If you try here here something like knight to d4, it's not so good because you get knight to g6, f takes g6, we have c takes d4. You see you have lost some tempos, and now the stars for bishop is a huge attacking piece, and still I don't see a good way how you should defend this pawn here on e6, so it would be, I think, a lost continuation. So Vishy calculated, of course, this continuation, so knight to d4 is not possible. That's why here rook to g8 was played by Jeffery Xiong, and now h5, simply pushing further. We are trying to open the position around black's king. We have many attacking pieces around the black's king, here the rook, the bishop and the knight and the queen, of course, and now it's time really to open the position here with the move h5. G takes h5, queen takes h5, now c4, and now knight to e2 with the preparation to maybe play even much more freely with this rook, because we have now a very nice defensive piece in front of white's king. So basically the best defensive piece in front of your king is always the knight when your queen attacks it, because you see it, the queen cannot attack your king here on the square c3. So if you have trouble sometimes when you get some positions, when you get attacked by the queen, really the best piece to protect from a queen is a knight. So here rook to c8 was played, rook to f3. Now the idea is to play knight to g3, then really try to challenge here this knight to f5. Rook to c6 was played, and now knight to g3. You cannot take, of course, knight takes g3 because you get checkmated here on f7. So that's why king to e8 played by Jeffery Xiong, and here Vishy Anand simply took knight takes f5. Here e takes f5, rook takes f5. Still we have some threats on this f7 square. Rook to g6 was played, and now king to d2. Very cool move here by Vishy Anand, because the king is basically not so endangered here on d2, because we still have the possibility to play rook to c2 if, for instance, the queen comes to a2, and we can also cover with our dark square bishop and protect even this f2 weakness. So that's why I think black's king is more endangered than white's king. So perfect positional game here by the legendary Tiger. So knight to f8, we have bishop to e3, knight to e6, and now queen to e2, trying to get rid of the queens, because there is one rule, I think, in chess. It says that the queen and the knight are basically better than the queen and the bishop. So the queen and the knight are functioning much more better together than bishop and the knight, bishop and the queen. So trading off the queens of the board is a great strategical idea here from white's perspective. Of course, Jeffery Xiong didn't go for that. He played queen to a2. We have rook to f2, rook to c2, protecting the king, and now queen to b1. But you see, there are no problems here around white's king. Many defensive pieces, and still with the we have here the possibility to crack the position with the move c4. So c4 played by Vishy Anand. Here we have rook to g4, c takes d5 was played, and now rook to d4. Here Vishy simply took, bishop takes d4, and if you try here for instance knight takes d4 to play sort of a fork, this is not so good, because we have first rook to c8. If you try king to d7, then you see we have rook to f7, and if you take, then queen to c4 is very dangerous. It's a lost game, you get checkmated even. So in this position, if you go here after this move rook to c8, if you go king to e7, then we have d6 attacking the king, king to e6, and now rook to f6. You have to play something like king to d5, queen to c4. You have king to e4, for instance, but now I think we can even take out this rook, no problems. I think here in the position you can even try here the move f3. So many attacking possibilities, and I think this is a winning continuation here for white. So that's why after this move rook takes d4, bishop takes d4 was played, and here Jeffery Xiong tried queen takes c2, and of course here Vishy Anand simply took king takes c2, knight to d4 with the fork on the king and the queen. We have king to d3, knight takes e2, king takes e2, and now rook to g4. And we have now a very funny endgame here, and I I think that Vishy Anand simply calculated all of that, because here we have a position, it seems like a drawish position, because now the rook can go here to a4, attack this weakness, attack the a3 weakness. But there is one problem about this position. You see now how Vishy Anand played very perfect endgame here. f4, simply closing the rook. We have rook to g3, attacking this pawn on a3. And here Vishy Anand played a very active move, not defending this pawn somehow. It's not about the pawn, it's now about this rook activity. Rook takes a3 was played, rook to g8, attacking the king, king to d7, and now a very important move, rook to f8, forces the king to go here on a very passive square on e7, and now rook to b8. Now this rook controls basically everything, because we can play something like rook to b7, and the problem is you cannot push pawns. You cannot push the b pawn, you cannot push the a pawn, because whichever you push of these pawns, you lose it. So that's why this rook is holding really the whole position now on the board. It's basically sort of a Zugzwang position that Vishy has provoked here. King to d7 was played, rook to b7, we have king to e8, and now d6, rook to a4 was played, and here after king to e3 in this position, Jeffery Xiong resigned. We have now a perfect Zugzwang position. Whatever you do, if you move the king, for instance, you lose the pawn. Again, I'm pointing you out. If you move some pawns, again you lose some pawns. If you move the rook, you again leave this pawn hanging. If you try to check here, if you try to check White's king, for instance, to a3, then we can go even further with our king, going into a better position, maybe with king to d3, or king to d5, or king to f5. So this is now a completely lost position, because White can also play something like f5, and then after that e6, try to get this pawns on the 6th rank. And if that happens, if this pawns get to the 6th rank, I think it again game over, because then you have also some checkmate threats on the 8th rank. So great game by Vishy Anand. I think great opening preparation, great strategy, great activity, great endgame transposition. So Vishy still got it. He's still one of the best chess players, I think, these days, and I wish him also all of the best in the continuation of the tournament. See you soon with some more videos. We'll follow this a very nice tournament. Magnus has played again the draw, but okay, Magnus can maybe go in a couple of rounds for some more wins. He broke now this record. We'll see how it's gonna play. He doesn't have to win all of these tournaments. It's not possible, of course, even in this top grandmaster level. But again, this is a great tournament, I think, so far, with some great surprises, with some great attacking games, and I'm really looking forward to follow this tournament even more. Okay, meanwhile you can watch my other commented chess games from the series, and you can also watch my best chess games of all time if you want to see the best chess games that have been ever played in chess history. See you soon with some more videos, and chess is the best, of course.